Welcome back, s'mores, to Beyond the Campfire. We got an episode today, like always. I'm here with Stephen the Indian, and today we're going to be talking about some spooky things. So if you're new here, that's what we do. We talk about spooky things, and if you like listening to spooky things, whether that's Bigfoot or the government, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Beyond Campfire. And we're traveling to another country today to talk about a spooky castle. Ain't that right?
That's right. Yeah. Today we will be flying over to Austria. So we will be over there. And there was a castle there. It's similar to, this isn't the first time we've talked about haunted castles, but I think there's definitely some unique things about this castle, why it was built, some of the things that happened over there. So we are going to get all into the Moosham Castle. The Moosham Castle. So, yeah, without further ado, Will, any preliminaries, other things we need to say before we dive in?
Thank you guys for 2 years. We might not have mentioned that before. Stephen brought that to my attention. Sorry we did not get a Patreon special St. Patrick's Day episode out either. We're trying to get Patreon stuff figured out, but yeah, nothing I can think of.
Alrighty, cool. Well, let's get into it. So, the Moosham Castle is a 12th, 13th century. It's a little bit debated when it was exactly built. It was built in the Austrian Alps, and kind of like I was saying earlier, unlike many of the haunted castle, its reputation really relies on well-documented legal history, right? So with a lot of these castles, there's like stories and legends. And not to say that like that's not the case with this castle too, but with this one, like we have like pretty well documented history of, well, this thing happened at this time and this thing happened at that time. This person was executed on this day and this family was tortured and interrogated on this day. So like it's probably one of the more well documented kind of historical sites that we will have for something this old. Because again, like most of the time, some of the things we're kind of relying on oral tradition or story. But like with this one, we have a pretty well documented oral, not oral rather, but like written news. That said, when it comes to some of the like spooky stuff that was going on in this castle, then a lot of that is going to be stories and things that happened.
Yeah.
So, did you have anything to add before I dived into history?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay. So most castles were usually built for either war or to be the residence of some kind of royal family or, very wealthy person, right? Moosham Castle was very different. It was designed to be a court of law, right? So, you weren't going to have like elaborate parties here. You weren't going to have, like military garrisons or fortresses built necessarily into the barracks necessarily. This was a place where interrogations happened, where confessions were extracted, whether by peaceful means or torturous means, and where executions would also happen, right?
So this sounds like a medieval CIA black site.
Yeah. So, if you wanted somebody to disappear or be taken out, Moosham Castle is kind of where you would do that.
Medieval Austrian CIA.
Exactly, yeah. So, if you were getting dirty secrets on some of the royal family or the aristocracy or the elites of that time, you might get a visit from the medieval Austrian CIA for sure.
Yikes.
So I could talk a lot about different cases, but I think for our purposes, I'm mostly going to center on what happened in 1675 to 1690.
So since you're skipping over, when are you going to like talk about when the castle was built and stuff and like?
Oh yeah, I guess I skipped over that on my notes. Oh yep.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
Yeah. Is built around 1191. That's our guess, right? Which would really put it at the end of the 12th century, early 13th century. The location was the Lungau region in Salzburg. And again, this was a weird place to build a castle, right? Like, usually you would build a castle either to be seen if you were wealthy, or to, you know, you would build it in a strategic place where people would want to take over, and, you were building it to be protected. But yeah, this area in Salzburg was remote, it was mountainous, and it had very harsh winters. So it would be like the US building a federal judicial court on top of like the Rocky Mountains or something. Or
Right.
yeah, like it's just weird. It's like, why would you put that there, right?
Hey, well, if it's like a CIA black site, you want to have that hidden from people, you know?
That's true, yeah. Because it was so far away from like civilization, I mean, the government was able definitely to ship people there to be jailed and interrogated. But yeah, I mean, because it's so far away, also it would also be hard for people to bring back stories of what was going on over there, or what was happening to them over there, right?
Yeah, you got to keep it hush hush, secret secret.
Yeah, yeah. So we have like records of men who were taken there, what they were on trial for. Uh, Other things are a little bit less documented, right? Like the torture methods that were being used.
So what it sounds like you're saying is with Moosham Castle, we know when it was built. We basically know everyone who went in and out of this place that was, arrested, trialed, whatever. But when it comes down to how torture was done, how things were done, we don't really know that much. We just know more or less who it was done to.
Yeah, we do exactly, right. Yeah, so we know like that men were taken here and they were tortured in interesting ways. There are some theories of how tortures were done, so let me see if I can find that.
I'm gonna take a guess that it has something to do with that really creepy coffin with the nails, with the spikes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is that is one of the torture
Because
methods.
that, if you don't know, that is a lot of people think of that as when you think of medieval torture. They probably have like the rack too. Have you seen the do they have the rack where like they stretch you out?
Yep, yep.
I
They
wish
do.
they would do that to me, man. My back hurts. I like to gain an inch or two.
There you go. So one of the alleged torture devices was what was known as thumb and leg screws. So what they would,
Oh, I know what. Oh, I know what that is.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So they would, yeah, they would put your thumb and leg, and they would screw it into a
uh,
something until you talked, right, and they would keep going until it was
man, we're gonna have to put like a trigger warning. Like trigger warning. This is gonna be gruesome, man. It's medieval torture.
medieval torture, right?
See, and what's
Flogging
funny
was
is
very common, right? So
flogging. Yep, flogging.
yeah, pretty basic. You have
Kinky,
your
kinky
whips,
stuff.
and
Kinky
you
stuff, man. Whips, and
that,
chains, man. Kinky stuff.
right? Oh, I should
Oh,
I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but Moosham Castle is also known as the Witch Castle, and we'll talk about why it's called that, right? So yeah, we have our witch trials here in the U.S., the Salem witch trials. Well, Moosham Castle had its own witch trials, so we'll
yeah.
get
I
there.
think, and from what I know, is European witch trials were a lot worse than ours were, and they went on a lot longer than ours did.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's pretty crazy.
Was
So
there? Is there? So we got the stretching, we got the coffin, and we got the thumb screws. Is there any other like torture,
yeah, let me look through my notes. So
pulling
yeah,
toenails and car batteries?
yeah, so there was a torture by the ropes, as you said. So they would like stretch you out on a rack, and they would like stretch you with ropes like as far as
See,
they.
I feel like at first that might feel good,
It would
and
feel
then when
good.
your shoulders dislocate, then it starts hurting.
Yeah, I was gonna say at a certain point, it no longer feels good, right?
Like like you always have to like you do that big stretch in the morning. I bet that would feel really good. but then they turn it one too many times too much, and then your shoulders and knees would pop out of place, and then it would hurt.
Hmm. Yeah, no. So it was pretty bad. Okay, last thing I have. I mean, there's some of the basic stuff, right? Like they would
Yeah,
break your bones, or they would like bludgeon you, like beat you until you're dead. Like stuff like that is like pretty.
normal torture. Just talk, or I'll break your finger.
Yeah. For those convicted of being like murderers, rapists, traitors, or robbers, they had what was called the breaking wheel.
I think I know what the breaking wheel is.
Yeah. So basically,
Maybe.
it was a large wooden spoked wheel, and sometimes it was modified, right? Like maybe they'd put
Yeah.
blades or something like that. But yeah, the primary goal, it could kill people, right? Like so, sometimes they use it for execution. But yeah, basically the primary goal of it was agonizing mutilation, right?
Wow, this place sounds like Disney World.
Yeah. So they would like hook you up to it, and as they turn the wheel, it would start by first breaking your leg bones, right? So they want you to talk. So hopefully, like as your legs are breaking, you'll say something, and then they'll stop. Uh,
Yikes.
they continued to turn. Other things would start to happen, right? So like sharp edged timbers would start to like poke at the victim's joints, and eventually, like again, if you kept spinning it, it would start stabbing you in the neck, and then eventually in the heart,
Oh,
and then you would just be dead at that point, right? So again,
yikes.
they usually didn't want to kill you. Like I said, it could kill you,
Yeah.
but usually they wanted you to talk before
Yeah.
they
That's
touch it.
why. Yeah. Man,
So
isn't it crazy how our torture methods have come so far now? You know,
I know.
like nowadays, if you get arrested for pot or something, and they have to interrogate you, they just like give you a lecture. But back then, yikes.
Yeah, people are pretty critical of our penal system today, and not to say there's not some awful conditions sometimes in our prisons, but
Yeah.
like
But
all
come
the
on, guys, it could be worse. All right. We could be sticking you in coffins with spikes. We could be giving you a nice, good stretch. We could be spinning you on a wheel.
for sure, yeah, no, things have definitely calmed down a lot. So, all right, but yeah, let's talk about these witch trials because this is really what.
Well, I'm gonna before you get to the witch trials, I'm just gonna ask one quick, easy question.
Okay,
How many men were tortured and executed between the time the castle was opened to the witch trials? Because we're skipping a huge gap of history.
sure. Well, we don't really know.
Oh,
Most estimates are in the hundreds, although some people say it could be as high as tens of thousands.
good lord!
Right.
This is a
However,
body factory.
I'm answering the question based off of tortures. Are you just asking like men who just went through
Well,
this?
I'm just asking how many men were convicted. Like how many men came through
Oh,
those
okay.
doors and were
Yeah,
like obviously like not everyone was tortured, but how many men went through this and were probably executed here, who were probably arrested here, who were probably like tortured, all that kind of stuff. Like what was the total number?
right. Yeah, let me look that up real quick because yeah, we would have a more.
Yeah, we have a lot more because you said it's well documented. So I feel like we'd have a lot more accurate number of how many guys went in the doors.
Okay, yeah. So officially, it looks like somewhere between 730 to 780, right?
730,000.
No, 730 total.
Oh, total. Oh, that's not
Yeah,
that many. I thought it was more.
that's convicted, right? Because obviously people went in there and were not convicted. Um,
Those people were probably tortured.
yeah, and even some of these convicted people, maybe that's what happened, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, but yeah. So, any other things before we get to the witch
No,
trial?
no, no. I think I'm ready for the witch trials because I just was curious about how many like a lot of people went in here.
Hmm. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. Again, I think there would have been more, but because this was in such a remote location, you got to think like you have to pay to catch the people, then travel them up there, and then
Right. Right.
it wasn't always super easy to like bring people up there, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, because it's such a remote place, like you could get away with a lot of, or
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get bitchy. I mean, witchy, and talk about these witch trials. Hey, you know what's something really funny though? Since we're
what's
talking about
that?
witch trials, I didn't mean to, but I got my Salem sweater on.
That is so perfect. Yeah, I love that.
Because whenever okay, if you guys don't know, I plan the episodes, and sometimes I look into the episodes to see what it is and see if it's actually interesting. Sometimes I don't, and I really just saw Moosham Castle was a very terrible place and was haunted, and I was like, cool. I didn't know there was witches,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
here
It's
I am.
specifically called a witch castle for this incident. So the witch trials happened in 1675 to 1690. So actually, kind of, sort of at the same time as the Salem witch trials, right? Because I feel like Salem witch trials.
So you said 1675 was the end of it.
That was the start of it. 1690 was the end of it.
It ended, I think, 2 years before the Salem witch trials.
Right.
I
Yep.
think the
Yeah.
witch
Right. Salem witch trials started in February 1692 and ended for 1693. So okay,
it ended about 2 years before. So there's about a 2 year gap.
yeah. Now, if you notice, Salem witch trials lasted about a year, maybe a little bit over.
Mm-hmm. By the way, if you guys want to know more about the Salem witch trials, you guys can go check out that episode on our podcast here. I don't know how far back it is. We don't do numbers, but it's back there. It's somewhere
It's back there. It's back there for sure. So
where you can see me and Steven time travel.
I know, yeah, good times, good times. So yeah, Salem witch trials lasted about a year. If you notice, these witch trials lasted from 1675 to 1690.
15 years.
15
That's
years.
what I keep telling you guys. Like the witch trials in Europe, like you know how they always make jokes like, oh, the Americans are always on steroids. They're always trying to go big and better than us. Over here is Europe trying to outdo us on our witch trials by going 15 years and killing way more people.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it was.
Don't get mad at us about our witch trials. You need to go get mad at them.
So yeah, during the late 17th century, the castle kind of became the headquarters for what became known as the Salzburg witch trials, and this was one of the last major waves of witch hysteria in Europe. So basically, throughout the 1600s, there's just like a lot of witch trials happening all over Europe. This was one of the more major ones that happened, but yeah, it was starting to wind down at this point in time. But yeah, it's still kind of ridiculous that this went on for 15 years because witch trials were slowing down everywhere else. But Austria, man, they were ramping things up. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get these witches.
Man, Austria, man, they produce some of the craziest people, like that famous painter.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Austrians, man. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I probably should be really careful saying that as a white guy.
Yeah, yeah, no, Big Daddy Government. I know you guys are watching this podcast as well. So anyway, all right. So about 300 people were accused of witchcraft over these 15 years. Most of the victims were poor villagers, women, and yeah, even children. Uh, Mostly beggars and outsiders. The accusations included causing storms, killing livestock, and consorting with the devil, right? And many of these confessions were obtained, you guessed it, through torture. So, you know,
See, and that's a fail safe. That like torture to me sometimes works, but a lot of times it doesn't because it's like we're gonna keep turning this wheel and stretching you out unless you tell us what we want to know. Are you a witch? No. Tightens it more. Okay, fine. If you stop, yes. It's like, well, great. They're not really a witch.
yeah, no.
You didn't get a best confession out of them.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of reasons these witch trials happened. Yeah, like, certainly a lot of the people thought that witches were invading, right? But some of it was like economically motivated. Some of the Augsburg elites wanted to take the property of people down the chain, And
Sounds like Salem.
yeah, right. And it's like, well, you try to buy it, you try to negotiate it, the people's not giving up the property. Well, you can just accuse them of being a witch, and if
Yeah.
they get taken out, then hey, guess who gets the property?
Sorry, all I could think about was like, buying something and the guy's not giving you a great deal. So then you're like, accuse him of a witch. So it's like Pawn Stars.
Yeah,
Best I could do is 2,000.
right.
Witch! Witch! Fine, fine, fine. I'll go up. I'll go up.
Happening at the same time, there was also another set of trials happening. So there was hundreds more people accused of being werewolves.
Oh
So
my word.
you had
This
the
is this
witch,
is this
you had the witch trials going on, and you had the werewolf trials going on.
now we just need the vampire trials going on, and then we got like a trifecta happening.
I know, right? So we had witch trials going on and werewolf trials going on at the same time, and yeah, both men and women were accused of transforming into wolves. They were blamed for the livestock dying during harsh winters. You'd say, "Oh yeah, Billy Bob Joe, I saw him turn into a wolf, and he ate my cow," right?
It's
Like
definitely not because it got too cold and I didn't have enough hay for him. It's definitely because Billy Bob is a werewolf.
there you go, there you go. So yeah, a
Dude,
lot
I'm telling you,
kind of
Europe,
tortured, tortured into confessions the same way that the legal framework as witches were used, right? So
like how today it's like nowadays we got a phone, we do dumb things because we're bored. It was like that was the 1600s in the witch trials, in the werewolf trials. It's like, dude, I'm bored. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go accuse grandma of being a witch.
right,
It'll
yeah.
be fun.
So because of this, people actually started hunting like actual wolves, right? Because there's wolves that used to live in the Austrian Alps region, and people were so effective at killing the wolves that wolves went extinct in the mountains. And to this day,
Yikes.
there are no wolves in the Austrian Alps. There used to be, but because of these Salzburg trials, all the wolves were killed.
Hey, you see that wolf? I definitely think that that's Billy Bob. Let's kill him before he kills us.
Right. So
I don't think
yeah,
that was Billy Bob. I think that was just a regular. No, I don't. I don't give a damn. No, that was Billy Bob.
yeah, the wolves out here were catching strays. So
Could you imagine? Could you imagine like the wolf family? They're just like, "Mommy, is Daddy coming home?" No, 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 son. Some humans got bored and thought he was a werewolf and shot him dead. Oh, what's gonna happen to me when I grow up? They're gonna do the same damn thing.
yeah. I shouldn't laugh. I mean, it is kind of sad, right? But
It's sad, but we
it's
laugh through trauma.
because like the wolves are just out there living their best wolf
Dude,
lives.
they're just sitting there eating grass or not eating grass. They got like a dead deer carcass and they're sitting there eating the dead deer. And this is really yummy. Oh, look, a human. Well, you know what? They don't mind us. Oh, shoot. He's shooting at us. What the heck? He's screaming and we're a werewolf? What does that mean?
Yeah, right.
Run, Susan, run. It's a drive-by. Pulling up in the
So
carriage.
the interesting about the witch trials is that before the witch trials, the castle was exclusively used to hold trials for men. But during the Salzburg witch trials, they opened it up to women and children as well.
Hey, look at that. Equality.
Yeah. And no children, at least on paper, were executed. However, dozens of children were interrogated.
Are
That's
you serious?
reports. Now, we can guess whether other things happened to those kids or not. We do know that some of those kids, after they were interrogated, went missing. Like they never returned home. So it's like, did something happen to them on the way back, or were some Austrian elites?
The wolves got their revenge.
Yeah, were some Austrian elites keeping the kids there or taking them somewhere else? We don't know, but yeah, I
Are
mean,
you trying to hint at a medieval Epstein?
hey, a lot of kids going missing, a lot of elites involved. Logic. It's possible that there was an Austrian Epstein thing going on, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah. So the kids are going to be important again in a second because eventually the trial started to wind down around 1690, and Austrian government shut it down, and they're just like, guys, there are no witches, there are no werewolves. You killed the entire wolf population of the Alps, like,
You guys got to chill.
right? Like, so,
Calm down. Go
yeah,
to
so it kind of
therapy.
like naturally ended this, in a similar way to the Salem witch trials, but by that point, hundreds of executions, right? Over 300 people, men and women, were executed
So I know
and another few hundred for being werewolves.
in the U.S., I wonder if you're going to get to this, but I know in the U.S. that we primarily executed the witches by hanging. I know there's one guy in which we talk. If you guys want to know about that, we talked about that in the previous episode. There's of course the one exception of the guy being crushed to death. How do they do the executions with the witches in Austria? Because I know a lot of people talk about burning at the stake. Was it a lot of burning at the stake, or was there other methods?
Yeah, yeah. So most of them were executed by torture and burning. So same thing, kind of being burned at the stake. Uh, but what's interesting is they would usually like kill them before burning them. So a lot of them were either, and again, it's gonna be a little pretty graphic. So again, trigger warning, which we'll put at the beginning too. But often after being strangled, decapitated, or having their limbs severed. So many of the victims had their hands cut off or their chests branded before being burned at the stake. And again, this was men and women, right? So,
Good old equality. Look at what you did, feminists. You got your ways.
mhm. So, oh, you know what? There were children that were executed. Oh my goodness.
Did you, this?
Oh, that is.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, 39 children between the ages of 10 and 14 were executed during these trials.
good lord.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely insane.
All right, so just because Timmy has an imaginary friend does not mean that he's a wizard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Um, okay, it does seem like the majority of the victims were men, which I mean, we could have guessed. Um, yeah, how awful. How awful.
Yeah.
So, all right. That basically wraps up the history. So now we'll get into the supernatural events of the modern day. Right. So, to this day, people that visit there and go see it, um, yeah, report hearing and seeing weird stuff. So if you go to Moosham Castle today, there is residual presence of a lot of things. Like there'd be certain parts of the castle that are very cold. You can hear like footsteps in empty corridors where nobody else is. Doors close without explanation, right? So you open a door, and later on it's closed, and it's just like nobody else had been back over there. Uh,
Yeah.
the emotional atmosphere is very heavy, so people often report feeling a sense of heaviness and anxiety, unease without visible, you know, causes. Uh, People have reported like seeing specters, right? Like, so they said they see like women and children like walking the halls. Some of them like in heavy chains, and like people said they can hear like heavy chains being
Okay.
dragged around the floor, right? So you can hear like
Yeah.
chains being dragged across the floor. Um, Certain parts of the castle you can hear what sounds like a whispering of uh, mostly men, although occasionally people have said they've also heard like women and children like whispering. There's been reports of crying, so like you can hear deep sobs um, of people
Yikes.
in the area. One part of Moosham Castle is now closed off. There used to be a cell over there, but they have since closed it off. Some people that are near there, did they report hearing like scratching behind where it's enclosed, and investigators like went and looked to see. oh, was there a small animal like caught behind there, or is like there's other things? But no, nothing. There's nothing behind there. There's no way like anything could
Okay,
enter
that's freaky.
and start scratching. So, most of the time, most people report hearing it at dusk. Well, for the most part, it's usually quiet. But if you're like near that area at dusk, many of the guards have said like they've heard scratching coming from behind the area that's now closed off.
No bueno.
Yeah. Uh, the most traumatic thing that happened. So one time, a woman fainted, and when she woke up, she reported that she felt the sensation of several hands like grabbing her and pushing her down
Oh boy.
before she fainted. So yeah, is Moosham Castle haunted? I mean, stuff seemingly keeps happening there.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll say is this. I mean, and I feel like we might bring this up and say this every single time we talk about ghosts, but Steven and I are two people that really don't we don't believe in ghosts in the normal sense, as some people would say. Like I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's like the footprint theory to where I believe that when we die, our soul moves on, but there could be something left behind, you know, footsteps in the sand. So I mean, with such a tragic history as Moosham Castle has, something could have been left behind, and we know if there is anything sort of demonic there, it has a chance because there's that open womb, that is being infected because of the tragedy that happened there. So yeah, I think Moosham Castle might be a place we need to go visit at some point and see if we can hear any scratchings and maybe Stephen can faint. Well, that'd be great to get on camera. But yeah, I think it could be haunted. With a tragic past like that, it's gonna leave something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, just like all the awful stuff that happened over there. Um, yeah, I mean, I definitely think some forces are there enacting whatever, right? There's definitely like a lot of just unresolved things. Um, Moosham Castle, as you mentioned, is open to the public, right? Some haunted locations we've talked about have either closed down or they've been destroyed or they're like just not open to the public generally. But yeah, Moosham Castle, you can go visit it. It has a museum with guided tours, kind of showing off the historic rooms, and there's an art collection and armory. It seems like they don't really advertise being haunted.
Mm.
Again, it being haunted is reported by people, but like Castle itself, it's not like the people are telling you like,
It's
"Oh,
haunted.
come see." Yeah, right. Like they're not saying that. They're not saying like, "Oh, come see this spooky haunted castle." They're like, "Oh yeah, come see like this historical place where things happen." So,
Yeah,
um,
it doesn't
but yeah,
look that bad of it. It looks like a nice little castle. Look at that.
yeah. But
Really?
people visit there, and they've reported strange things. I certainly the staff, I'm sure, knows weird stuff goes on, but
Well, it's like, have you seen there's a lady on Instagram I see sometimes where she works at, um, it's not it's the Conjuring House, not I think it's the Conjuring House. Which one did we talk about? We talked about which one did we talk about? We talked about the one on Ocean Drive. Yeah. Amityville.
oh yeah,
But so there's Amityville, but then there's also the Conjuring House, and I think the Conjuring House is actually possibly more haunted. But there's like that one that we're going to talk about that at some point, guys. Don't worry. But there's a lady on TikTok and Instagram where
uh,
she works there, and she like hates closing it. She's like, at night, man, it's spooky at closing up. Like
sure.
you hear things. So yeah, is that all you got for us? Anything else?
Yep, that's all I got. So yeah, Moosham Castle, haunted place in Austria. A lot of awful things happened there, and perhaps some awful things are still happening there. Yeah. So.
Who knows? Thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Beyond Campfire. And the innocent died screaming, and something there learned to listen.